Okay, so this is the outline of the coursework for the module CSN11123/4, and your task is to perform a pen test on a company website. The company is named Apples for You, and so what we'll do is we'll have a look at the website actually inside our cloud. You can also download the VM and test it locally, but we'll have a look in the cloud just now. Okay, so the place to look for your VMs are inside this folder here. Okay, so we can just have a little look to see the VMs that are running just now. So what to do is that if you want to run one of the VMs, pick one which isn't powered up and then use it, and then power it off. Okay, so we'll just pick one of these VMs. I'll pick one that's already powered on, but when you do it, make sure that you power it off when you're finished, which will allow someone else to be able to use it. So we're going to just do a basic scan. Don't worry about the certificate check there. Okay, so this is our machine in the cloud. First thing we would normally do is look at get the command right. We'll look at our IP address on our machine. So in this case we are on the 10.200 subnet. Okay, so it's quite a big subnet, so you've got to watch that you don't scan a whole lot of machines. You should find that the machine that we're scanning should be local inside this network. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just do a quick scan of the network just to see if we can find our server, and we use 24 as a subnet mask because we only want to scan on 10.200.0. It just takes a little minute to do this. There we go, we've got a few machines on there. And the one we are most interested in is this machine here. We see there are lots of services on it, so it's slightly worrying already. We can see all these services here, and we can just try and fingerprint the operating system. And let's do root. Let's get the password right. And there we go. So it looks like it's a Microsoft Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 1 or 2. And it's given us the details of the site. So it looks like there's a web server running, so we'll have a quick look at that. 10.200.0.4, and there we go. So there's the company website. So this is the site that runs on the internet. We have it in a sandboxed environment, so what we've got to do is to be able to do a basic pen test on the site. So as part of what you actually do, then we want you to act in a business-like fashion when you're doing your pen testing or your security assessment. And whenever you do an assessment, we ask you to be able to define the scope of it and get approval from the company. Okay, so for example, you would define your outline, test specification, and and you should be as businesslike as possible. Okay, so we could define the basic scope of what it is we're going to assess. And then you would define the time of the test. And then you would possibly define what would happen if there was any problems with the test, or if they were postponed, and so on. Okay, so really you're defining the scope of any test that you actually do. You should get approval of the scope of the test that's going to happen. Then whenever you're going to do your test, you should email the company and tell them when it is you'll actually be doing and the amount of time you will spend doing this. You will also show possibly how any mitigation procedures would actually happen in case something went wrong. You'd be able to get in contact with the company. Okay, so make sure you keep a log of the emails that you actually send, and make sure that you get approval for each of the tests that you actually perform. Okay, so that shows an outline of the tests. So obviously once you do your tests, then you can actually send back to the company that the tests have now been performed. So let's have a look at the actual coursework itself. So the VM at present isn't finalized, so we'll email you when the VM is ready, but you can test on a sample VM just now, and it should work roughly the same as the main VM that you'll actually get. So the report should be submitted and should have the following sections if possible: your outline research and into the main methods that are used with inside pen testing, the main methodologies, the kind of things that you're searching for, and your general method, how is it you went about the tests, and so on. Then you should outline your findings from the reports. From there, show what your main recommendations are for the site, any problems, any things that really should be fixed, and so on. Your conclusions, and then make sure you add all your references. Okay, so that's an outline of the coursework. So just to remind you, we use the Napier Cloud to be able to get in contact. We should be able to get a terminal, find out what your IP address is, and then you can then use your tools to be able to assess the Apple's website.